Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to go for a ride on this 2006 Yamaha Roadliner. This bike's 20 years old and I'm going to just basically talk about how it compares to my Triumph bobber. Yamaha produced two models. One was called the Stratoliner and the other one is called the Roadliner. And basically the difference is the Stratoliner, it's got all the bells and whistles. It's got the front shield, it's got the bags, it's got all the chromes, it's got the windscreen, all the lights, all the extra stuff. And the Roadliner is a stripped down version of the Stratoliner without all the windshields and chrome. But basically both bikes are exactly the same. Actually, it's very similar to what Triumph did with the Bonneville Bobber versus the Bonneville Speedmaster. It's basically the same bike, but it's just set up a little bit differently. So obviously Yamaha is a Japanese manufacturer, but this bike wasn't built for the Japanese market. It was built for the US market to basically compete with the brands in the US. And if you weren't really paying attention properly and you looked at this bike, you would think it was actually a Harley Davidson bagger. So how does this bike compare to the Triumph Bobber? First of all, the Triumph Bobber is an intermediate size bike and this is a full-size cruiser. The Triumph Bobber is 1,200 cc's and this bike, the Roadliner, is 1,900 cc's. The Triumph Bobber is a parallel twin. This one is a V-twin and it's air-cooled. Triumph Bobber is liquid-cooled. The Roadliner only has 5 gears and the Triumph Bobber has 6 gears. In terms of power, the Triumph Bobber produces about 77 horsepower, about 6,000 RPMs, and the Roadliner produces about 100 horsepower at about 4,000 RPM. So it's a very torquey bike. And in terms of torque, the Bobber produces about 78 foot-pounds of torque at about 4,000 RPM, maximum torque. And this one produces about 123 foot-pounds of torque at only 2,000 RPMs. Considering that this bike is 20 years old, I was actually quite surprised to find that this thing was belt drive, unlike the Triumph Bobber, which is chain drive. In my non-expert review of these two bikes, I honestly cannot tell you the difference between a chain drive and a belt drive. Honestly, they feel exactly the same. Apart from the obvious difference in terms of maintenance, the chain drive needs to be maintained quite frequently, and the belt drive apparently very little, and it lasts a long time too. I wonder if you caught that, me squeezing the clutch lever again, or pulling on it. It's me looking for the 6th gear. It happens all the time. I'm so used to my Bobber having 6 gears. And then this bike, this Roadliner, only has 5 gears. So I get to the 5th gear and I think, oh yeah, we could really go for one more. And then I pull it in and I'm like, oh man, I'm at the top already. So it's kind of funny. It's not a real problem when you ride the bike. It's actually just fine. This bike has got so much torque and so much power in every gear that 5 gears is really more than enough. And you can really cruise quite comfortably at 100 kilometers an hour, 120, 140 in 5th gear. There's no issue to it. And it's the same on the opposite side. So you can easily drop the speed down to about 20, 30 kilometers an hour and then put it in 2nd and 3rd gear and just lug the bike. It'll have no problems. There's plenty of torque in all the gears, right? So like if you're in 2nd or 3rd gear, the bike just lugs along happily, no issues. You don't even have to twist the throttle. lane splitting isn't much of an issue as well. The bike is pretty big, but as long as people give you enough gap, it's nimble enough and it's easy to handle enough. Of course, the first time I did it, I was a little bit wary because the handlebars are so wide, and then of course with the bobber I don't have any bags in the back, and this one, it does have a couple of panniers in the back that does make the back end a little bit more wide, but on the whole it's pretty easy to lane split. Despite the bike being nearly 800 pounds, right, compared to the Triumph Bobber, which is only about 500 pounds, this bike is extremely nimble. You know, I really love riding this bike. It's so easy to handle. If you can get over the fact that it's nearly 800 pounds at a standstill, because it is, you do feel the weight, you know, holding the bike up. But once you get moving, you don't feel the weight at all. At all. Right? It just goes wherever you point it, and the whole ride is extremely relaxing. Unlike the bobber, when you get on the bobber is actually a really aggressive bike. It just really wants to go, you know, everywhere. But this one, you get on it and you kind of relax. Once it starts moving, you just relax, and you're really enjoying the bike ride. Yamaha did a great job with this bike. Another really cool feature on this Roadliner is the auto signal cancellation. This is a 20-year-old bike and it's already got that, and my Triumph doesn't have it. And if you're like me, I'm always leaving the signal, the indicators on after I turn. You know, I'll be riding for a mile or 5 minutes with my indicators still on. It happens all the time, so this feature is really helpful. So if I had to choose between the two bikes, which one would I prefer? Would I prefer the Triumph Bonneville Bobber versus the Yamaha Roadliner? That would be a hard one. I think ultimately I would like to have both, because both bikes are really fantastic bikes to ride. But to compare them and say, okay, I'll rather have this one over the other one, it's kind of unfair, because basically they're two very, very different animals. The Triumph Bobber is, you know, really aggressive, right? It's like, yo man, you know, let's go. How hard do you want to pull? You know, do you want to take this corner hard? How fast do you want to get there? That's the way the Bobber feels when you get on it, and it just wants to go. And then you've got the Roadliner, who's like your surfer buddy. Hey bro, you know, where are we gonna ride to today? How fast do you want to do it? You want to do it nice and slow and cruisy? Or do you want to go fast? Because it has the capability. And then everywhere you go, it's a very, very comfortable ride, and also it's an extremely nimble bike for such a big bike. But having said that, you wouldn't really like to ride this one around town, because like parking is a bit of a problem, because it's a big bike, it's long and it's wide, whereas the Bobber is a lot smaller, and it's easy to park and easy to maneuver around, you know, smaller areas. Definitely the cruiser, the Roadliner, is much better suited for the highway. You know, if you're going down the Pan Borneo highway and you're off to Kuching or something like that, yeah, this is the bike to take, because it's just super, super comfortable. It's like sitting on a sofa, right, with an engine. Well, anyways, that brings us to the end of the video. It was my very unprofessional review of the Roadliner. I hope you enjoy the content. I've got a couple more minutes left on the video for you to watch, so I'll just leave you guys to it. If you like the content that I produce, you know, why don't you give me a like or a follow if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care everyone, be safe.